and he's standing there with his shirt off, with his shorts on. There's not a man alive who doesn't want to be built like that. They all want to be built like that. Now, the mass and the striations and the vascularity.
This version of him did, but like this version definitely did.
Having trained with Manny Pacquiao had to be a huge asset for you.
But he's always bouncing, he's always moving around.
Yes.
Like, he'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down, and he really is an unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete, and a legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really gonna,
Okay, so what if I told you that the most dangerous thing about Manny Pacquiao was never his fists? What if it was the plan, and allegedly, everyone around him knew it? And this whole story you thought you understood is actually something completely different.
To have an opportunity like that to spar 250 rounds with one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he won world titles in what, 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or
Crazy.
14 world titles.
Crazy.
It will never be done again.
Crazy.
And as much as you want to see records broken, and I want to break records, that man is a one of one.
He's a one of one. I mean, when he knocked down Thurman in that fight, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy's 40 years old and still can crack and still as fast as lightning.
Yeah, look, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power. It's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. A lot of that sparring paid off, and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well, saying that I hope the sparring we did, helped you in this fight. And straight away,
that's amazing.
And I was so excited. He's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah,
when you look
massive.
At that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
Because right now we're pulling back the curtain on a boxing narrative that reportedly goes so deep that even the people inside it don't fully understand what they were part of. And yes, we are starting here with Joe Rogan.
8 different weight classes. Who the does that?
And the way he did it, like
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Cotto. I love this school, and the way that he beat Cotto, I didn't think nobody could ever do that to him. And it was just like, bro, what the?
Well, his legs, Manny's legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah, and the hand
crazy.
speed, the power,
speed, everything.
I just always wish that the Mayweather.
He does his sparring, but then he's on the bag. He's on the shadow boxing. He's there doing the pad work. So that extra rounds just builds that conditioning and that stamina. And that's what I just found, that push more rounds. If your body can keep going, push more and more.
A man who has seen every physique on the planet, every athlete, every specimen of human conditioning, literally stopping mid-sentence, unable to process what he was looking at when Manny Pacquiao walked in, because reportedly Rogan said something along the lines of this being a body every single man on earth would want. Shredded, vascular.
Why? Because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big. Because he's always constantly running the mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
My calf started getting bigger and bigger.
With calves so impossibly massive that fans online are saying they look digitally enhanced. And we are not joking. The comment sections went absolutely feral. And this is where it gets interesting because those calves, those legendary, almost mythological calves,
was a flyweight champion. Not that he turned pro at flyweight. He was good enough as a flyweight to be the lineal champion, the real champion. Now, he didn't win titles in every division. He skipped some of these, but I just want to tell you how flyweight, junior bantam, junior feather, junior light, junior welter,
He's rapping
welter,
again.
junior middle.
He rolling.
And he laid waste to these divisions. He fought great fighters. He never ducked anybody. Pacquiao, to me, other than Sugar Ray Robinson, he's still one. Pacquiao is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter who ever lived. I can't put Floyd above him.
Yeah.
Any beef?
I agree with you on that. I mean, I've always had Manny Pacquiao above Floyd pound for pound, and just in the history of boxing, you never heard of a guy that can go from those weight classes and still dominate. Knocking out Cotto, knocking out Ricky Hatton with one shot, destroying Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, like, made him look like he was...
allegedly come from one place and one place only. And that place is a mountain in General Santos City in the Philippines, where a young Manny Pacquiao reportedly ran hills so brutal, so relentless, so savage that his legs basically rewired themselves on a cellular level. And now here's your first twist, because this wasn't just training.
Thurman in that fight, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy's 40 years old and still can crack and still as fast as lightning.
Yeah, look, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power. It's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. You know, a lot of that sparring paid off and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well saying that I hope the sparring we did, you know, helped you in this fight, and straight away.
That's amazing.
And I was so excited. You know, he's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah,
When you look
massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
Reports suggest this was survival. This was a kid from nothing using a mountain as his only gym, his only coach, his only ticket out. And the fact that those same legs are now worth allegedly hundreds of millions of dollars in fight revenue is the kind of full circle story that makes you stop and go, wait. But hold on.
What, 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or
Crazy.
14 world titles.
Crazy.
It will never be done again.
Crazy.
And as much as you want to see records broken, and you know, I want to break records. That man is
He is one of a kind, and I would not bet. I wouldn't be shocked to see him do something that is very, very, could be, you know, very unlikely that at 46 years of age that he could.
We're not done, because we need to talk about what Rogan also said about Pacquiao's conditioning, which is apparently so elite, so borderline inhuman, that sources...
That they've seen something special. They've seen a 46-year-old that maybe they thought when camp started, hey, this is wrong. But it's Manny Pacquiao we're going to go along with and see how it looks. And then all of a sudden they say, oh my God, it's possible. Oh my God, Manny, you're starting to make me think maybe it's possible. I'm going to hope that he's got people around him of that ilk, of human beings, not just professionals, but human beings that have seen something to continue to go forward with this fight. Or if they didn't, would have said, you know what? No, I can't be part of this. So just on that alone, I'm gonna have hope for them. I'm gonna give them credit.
Close to the training camps have suggested he does pad work, then sparring, then bag work, then shadow boxing, then extra rounds. After all of that, and you have to understand,
Right. Man is always on the move. You understand me? What has happened in boxing is a lot of people have lost the art of footwork. Right. You understand me? Not many people have footwork. So if you see a guy go out and box like you'll never see in today's time too often, a guy go out and box like Sugar Ray Leonard boxed Marvin Hagler. Right. He moved around, he fought when it was time, he moved when it was time. He understood how to use the whole ring to get a victory. Now guys don't do that. Pac-Man, fortunately, is one of those guys who knows how to use the ring. Nowadays, with how things go, and with Manny being who Manny is, if Manny can get to 12 rounds, Manny has one of the bigger outputs for any fighter of any era. Right. He's a guy that don't mind throwing 3 and 4 and 5 punches at a time. He's not one of those guys that won't throw 4 or 5 punches if he see it. That being said, the only concern I have is how will it be?
Most professional fighters are completely destroyed after one of those sessions, and Manny allegedly stacks them like he's playing a video game on easy mode. And this is the part where the narrative starts to shift, because you start asking yourself, how is a man in his 40s keeping up with... No, scratch that.
Manny Pacquiao special is that he does everything so good. He has great footwork, he has good ring IQ, good defensive slips, good combinations, and I think most importantly of all, he's in there willing to go to war with anybody. So that's really what makes him more important. The most special thing about him is his spirit and his will to fight. I think Manny Pacquiao at age 46 is gonna look amazing in my opinion. He has all the experience in the world. He's seen every single fighter, and if he's coming back at 46, is because he definitely wants to come back and win another world title. I think that one of the oldest world champions has been Bernard Hopkins when he fought at age 49. So, Pacquiao is barely 46 right now. He's a young 46. So I think, he's
reportedly dropping younger fighters. And yes, we are talking about Keith Thurman, a prime, fast, powerful champion who allegedly hit the canvas because of a man old enough to be his older brother, and the internet erupted.
A smart thing, but also a devious thing. Waiting until Pacquiao was older, waiting until he slowed down, and then...
Devious is not illegal in boxing.
It's encouraged.
Yeah. In any entrepreneurial sport, devious is not illegal.
No.
Devious can be an asset.
That's how you retire with a 50-0
I give
record.
Floyd credit for brilliance, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Floyd wasn't just a smart fighter. Floyd was a brilliant fighter. He was on his own level. And so much so, in any matchup between the great counterpuncher and the great attacker, that the counterpuncher has the advantage. He's got more options. He's got more ways of winning. The attacker has to break through the wall.
And fans started saying things online that boxing promoters allegedly did not want said out loud. Specifically, that Pacquiao might actually be. And I want you to sit with this.
The years before Mayweather Pacquiao, people would run up to me on the street, run up to me in the shopping center in Vegas, run up to me in a hotel. When am I going to see Mayweather Pacquiao? And I would say, well, we don't know, but what exactly is it you think you're going to see? Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be such a great fight. No, it's not going to be a great fight. It's going to be like watching somebody pluck the legs off a spider, all right? At a step-by-step method. And you're going to watch Mayweather pluck the legs off the spider that is Pacquiao. And it's
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, 10 years after the fact. They're talking about running it back. What's your thoughts on that?
It should have happened a long time ago, obviously. I don't mind it because it'll be entertaining. I'm curious to see how Mayweather will react to Pacquiao's style again, Mayweather's Mayweather. He has a great style, great defense. Probably the same thing
now in certain ways than he was a decade ago, which sounds insane until you layer in the next piece of information. And this is where it gets complicated, because analysts and boxing historians have reportedly started placing Pacquiao not just among the greats, but above some of the names we've spent years treating as untouchable. And one name keeps coming up in these conversations. One name that the algorithm gods will not let me say too aggressively, so I'll say it softly. Floyd. And a
base guaranteed purses standpoint and the back end, the deal that both fighters have with Netflix is better than any other deal Netflix has done with any other boxer till today. So
let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about the purses. Can you share how much Manny and Floyd are making?
I can't share the exact number. But let's just say if you know what they're worth, and they know what they're worth, and they know the numbers they've done before. So if the numbers didn't make sense for either of them, they wouldn't have signed on the dotted line, and we wouldn't be where we are today.
Okay, I'll ask one more. Over or under 50 million each?
Over.
Okay, that's a good benchmark to work with.
Yeah.
The first fight was billed as the fight of the century, but it failed to live up to the massive expectations, right? Fans were left with a bad taste on. After the fight, Manny said he had a shoulder injury. There were some lawsuits involved. How can this fight be different 11 years later?
It's very hard to explain this, but these guys are in better.
Allegedly, some experts, some pound-for-pound lists, some deeply serious boxing minds have started sliding Pacquiao's name above Floyd Mayweather's on the all-time rankings. And when that information reportedly started circulating in boxing circles, sources suggest things got very, very interesting behind closed doors, because here's what fans online have been piecing together like a puzzle, and it's spreading fast.
It will go on their record. Floyd currently has a record of 50-0. Remember, he retired at 50-0. It is possible he could go either 51-0 or now 50-1 or the draw or whatever. But he's at least putting it up to be part of the professional record. Now, you might say, well, hasn't he been doing a lot of exhibitions since his retirement from boxing? And the answer is yes, about 8 of them or so. I believe he's got, by the way, a 9th coming up in April in the Democratic Republic of the Congo against, of all people, Mike Tyson. Also, just as a fresh reminder, the first fight, I didn't hate it, but a lot of people did. And remember, you'll recall Manny Pacquiao, after the fight was over, blamed his performance on his shoulder. But there was pretty widespread disappointment with just how big the fight was and then how little it delivered. Not necessarily to hardcore fans, although some of that too.
Speculation, and I want to be clear, this is speculation, is that the original Mayweather-Pacquiao fight in 2015 was delayed, reportedly intentionally. And the theory spreading across forums and comment sections is that every year that fight didn't happen was allegedly a year that worked in one fighter's favor strategically.
Downs. He's had his ups and his downs. And, he always smiling and always friendly to people. It's like he's so admirable just as a human being.
And it shows, too, that defeats, I love how the UFC is. Losses are losses.
Yeah.
Boxing has this stereotype where the zero is so important. I'm undefeated, but would you rather see the best fight and the best? You're going to get competitive fights and great fights, but unfortunately in boxing, it's not like that.
Well, the biggest draw in the sport is Canelo, and Canelo is not undefeated.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's one way of looking at it.
Because if you believe the online chatter, and millions of people apparently do, one opponent Pacquiao couldn't train his way through, and so the wait, the negotiations, the back and forth that went on for years was reportedly not chaos. It was chess, and now here's your second massive twist, because the rematch that is allegedly being discussed right now, the one with numbers floating around that would make your jaw hit the floor. We're talking figures that fans online are estimating at $50 million each, or potentially more. That fight, if it happens, would officially count on Floyd's record, and suddenly the legacy math changes completely. Because one outcome in that fight reportedly rewrites the entire final chapter of both careers simultaneously. And you have to ask yourself, who benefits more from that narrative existing? Who needs that story to be told? And this is where the whole thing starts feeling less like sports and more like a production, like a carefully assembled piece of content where everyone is playing a role, and the audience. Us, you, Emmy, are the last to find out. And the boxing community is allegedly split right down the middle on who wins a rematch, with one camp saying Floyd's defensive IQ, his timing, his ability to make every fight look like a masterclass in not getting hit, still gives him a structural advantage that Pacquiao's volume punching simply can't overcome, while the other camp, and this group is reportedly getting louder, argues that a Pacquiao who has continued training at this level, who has maintained this conditioning, who has somehow kept his explosive speed and his angle-based combinations and his footwork sharp enough to drop Keith Thurman, is not the same fighter Floyd neutralized a decade ago. And honestly, based on what Joe Rogan apparently could not stop talking about, based on those calves, that vascularity, that mass, that relentless non-stop training regimen, maybe they have a point. And maybe the most dangerous version of Manny Pacquiao is the one nobody saw coming, the older one. The one that was supposed to be slowing down, the one that allegedly defies every law of athletic aging that we thought we understood. But, and this is the twist that reframes everything you just heard, what if the real story here was never about who wins a rematch? What if the real story is that allegedly, according to people who study the business of boxing, the conversation about this rematch is worth more than the fight itself? Because right now, every time someone posts a clip of Pacquiao's shredded physique, every time Rogan says something that sends the internet spiraling, every time a ranking list puts Manny above Floyd, the demand for that fight allegedly increases by a number that promoters are apparently tracking in real time, which means the mountain runs, the extra rounds, the impossible calves, the knockdown of Keith Thurman? All of it, every single piece of this story may allegedly be chapters in the greatest long game boxing has ever seen. And if that is true, then the most dangerous thing about Manny Pacquiao was never his left hand. It was his patience. So tell me in the comments, do you think the rematch ever actually happens? Or is the legend of the rematch more powerful than the fight itself could ever